And welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting yet another reading vlog for you guys, and this reading vlog is going to be very wintry, very cozy, hopefully, so I hope you guys are excited because I certainly am. I have some fun wintry books that I'm hoping to read in this vlog, and I just have some, you know, holiday things that I would like to do. So let me talk about the TBR first, and then we will get into it. So I have 4 books, like maybe, that I'm hoping to finish in this vlog. I don't know if I'm going to finish all 4 of these, but I'm aiming for like 3. Because one of these is a maybe. The first one actually is a book that I'm currently in the middle of. I'm reading it on my Kindle, and I literally never read things on my Kindle, but I've been binging this series this week and I've been having such a good time. It is called the Villains and Virtues series on Kindle Unlimited. It is a fantasy romance trilogy that follows one of our main characters who is a villain, but he's like really bad at being a villain, and our other character who is very like, you know, she's a good sunshiny person. Their dynamic is so fun. It's also just like a silly goofy time. There's so many things happening that are so stupid, but also it's just so funny. So I'm currently reading the 3rd book, which is called Eclipse of the Crown. How far into it am I? I am 76% of the way through it. I've read like the entirety of this series in a week. I'm definitely going to be finishing this book today because I'm really excited to see how the series ends off, but I'm also really sad because I've been having such a fun time reading it. So kind of a bittersweet moment, but I'm definitely going to be finishing this one. I'm also hopefully going to be reading Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. This is just a small little novella that is about a, I don't know, like a princess trapped in a tower, but it's not exactly about her. I don't know, there's a little frog. Look at this chapter heading, oh my god. That's so cute. This is apparently the tale of a kind-hearted, toad-shaped heroine, a gentle knight, and a mission gone completely sideways. That sounds really fun. So definitely gonna be reading this as well. Then this next one I'm so excited about because this is my Patreon buddy read for the month, and I actually recently talked about this book in my 5-star predictions video, and so many of you guys told me in the comments how much you love The Starless Sea and how like good it is for winter. And I'm like, obviously you guys have taste, you guys have immaculate taste, so I decided to bump this up even further on my TBR and literally start it today. Well, not today, in this vlog, because I am so excited to see what I think about this. Obviously, I loved The Night Circus, so it is time. It is her time, and I'm gonna be so sad if I don't like it, but I feel like I really will. And then this last one is the book that I'm just not sure if I will be able to get to, because the other 3 I've talked about, I would definitely be finishing them in this vlog, but I am thinking about picking up Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. I might read this via audio, maybe? That could be kind of nice, because I do have some things that I want to do that like I could listen to an audiobook while I'm doing them. I don't know. It's just a maybe. We'll see if this happens. I mean, I will read it at some point in time in December. I just don't know if like right now is that point in time. But here's my TBR plus the book that I'm reading on my Kindle. I'm so excited about all of these. I feel like it's a really good TBR. It's gonna be good. But as for things I'm going to be doing in this vlog, the first thing we're gonna do actually is set up my tiny Christmas tree. I've been saving setting up my Christmas tree for a vlog, and it's time. I mean, it's only the 2nd of December, so like I haven't really been waiting that long, but I'm just ready to get it up. I love the lighting that it adds to my room. It'll be cute. And I definitely will be doing other wintry things. I just don't exactly know what those are going to be. I'm thinking at some point I might make like a garland out of dried oranges and cranberries, because I love that kind of vibe for the winter, so I might try doing that. I've never made one before, and we have some cranberries left from Thanksgiving, so I think I might do that in this vlog as well. And aside from that, I don't really have any other plans. It's kind of all I got. So we'll just kind of see what I get up to in this vlog. Oh, also something that we must do that I need to talk about. I have an advent calendar this year. I totally forgot about this, but the lovely people over at Papier, I think that's how you pronounce it, reached out a couple of months ago and asked if I wanted like a stationary advent calendar, and I was like, of course I want a stationary calendar, thank you. This isn't sponsored, but it was so kind of them to send it to me, and I wanted to open the little boxes like throughout the days in this vlog. So yeah, look at it. It's so beautiful. It's got like little silver foil-y stars on the box, and it is so stunning. But I want to open the second one because I opened the one yesterday. It's like a little paperclip thingy, but I want to open box 2. I mean, look how cute it is. Oh my god. Like literally this box, look at this. Oops. It is like exactly my vibe. And I cannot wait to see what some of these things are. So I thought we could open the box for day 2. Never had an advent calendar before, so this is like, wow. Oh, they're just like tiny, oh, for little reminders. It's a little, what's this called? What is it called? Sticky notes. They're sticky notes. I like the shape of these. Very, round. Honestly, I can't wait for the advent calendar to be done because I want to use this box for something because it's so beautiful. Even has like a little drawer. Look at that. It's just insane. I was so excited when I opened this because it is so beautiful. Anyway, I think the first thing that I'm going to do is set up my tiny Christmas tree. I have no idea where I'm gonna put it yet, but I think I might decorate it first and figure that out later. So I hope you guys enjoy the vlog and let's get into some decorating. Okay, so Christmas tree decorating session complete. I got new ornament balls from Michael's a few days ago. It was like $3 a tube, and I thought that was a pretty good deal, and I really liked the kind of teal and green combo. I'm a big fan of that. And I just really love it. Putting on my tiny tree is like my favorite thing. So now literally my only plan for the rest of the day is to finish Eclipse of the Crown. Finish the series. I'll probably be really sad about it, to be honest. And then tomorrow I will probably get into some of my other reads. So just a quick update for you right now. I will catch up with you guys later. is now Sunday morning and I do have a couple of reading updates for you guys. One of them, I'm like excited about it, but I'm also sad about it because I did finish Eclipse of the Crown last night, and honestly, like, I'm so sad that the series is over. Literally, like, all I've been doing in my free time for this last week has been reading all 3 of the books in this series. And now that I don't have that to do, I'm like, what do I do? You know, it's been a minute since I've read like an entire book series that has been quite this addictive. So now that I don't just like automatically have a book that I want to sit down and like read a bunch of, I'm like, what do I do with all this free time? You know? But overall, the series was so much fun. Oh my god. I would describe it as like a fantasy romance rom-com kind of situation. The humor in it is definitely not for everybody, and like if you don't jive with it, like you're gonna hate the series. But if you do, then you're going to have such a fun time because there were just so many moments within the series that had me laughing, giggling. I was just having a good time. Like it's so ridiculous at moments, but that's what makes it so fun. But talking about the third book specifically, I liked this one a lot, but I do think it is the weakest of the series. I feel like the plot in this book was just kind of all over the place. It was a little bit messy, but kind of by the same token, these books are very self-aware, and at some point throughout this book specifically, it kind of acknowledged the fact that the plot progression was kind of like messy. And I was like, I don't know if that necessarily excuses what's happening, but it was also really funny, and I liked that subtle breaking of the fourth wall, and it did that like a couple of times throughout the series, and I also really enjoyed that. But in general, I just really enjoyed the ending of this book. It was such a fun series. I really liked all of the fantasy elements in this series because, for one, it's mainly kind of like a traveling fantasy kind of situation. It's a lot of following our characters, like just traveling places. And honestly, I love fantasy books like that, especially when they're like stopping in different towns. You see a lot of different magical creatures. I feel like this series, like, it had them all. It had vampires, werewolves, goblins, demons, and just like a bunch. And I love seeing that. It felt very like classic fantasy almost, kind of just throwing them all in there. Like they all exist. There were elves, fairies, just, it's got them all. And throughout the series, you saw like interactions with all of those different kinds of creatures, and I loved it. Like it was, I mean, I don't know how many times I can tell you it was fun, but I'm gonna tell you again because it was really fun. And I loved the characters, I loved the romance, and it was all just great, honestly. So yes, if you think you could be down for like a silly, goofy fantasy romance, you gotta check it out. Honestly, I'm so glad that I checked this series out. And I mean, I never read anything on Kindle Unlimited, like basically never, because normally I don't have a KU subscription, but I'm so glad that I got one and I picked this series up. So just want to thank Carrie Can Read for talking about this series that I now love as well. But I do have another book to talk about because I did pick up Winterwood on audio this morning, and I was listening to the audiobook of this while I was making a little book page snowflake garland kind of thing for my window. I saw Kirsten from Reading Nymph make one for her bookshelf, and I thought it was so cute. So I wanted to make one for myself, and I was gonna put it on my bookshelf, and then I was like, I don't know how I feel about all of these book pages up against these fairy lights, so I moved it. But I'll show it to you because I think it's really cute. I was listening to the audiobook of Winterwood while I was doing that, and it's fine. I don't really have, I feel, a lot to say about it so far. I kind of feel the same way I have felt about the other books by Shay Earnshaw that I've read, because I liked The Wicked Deep, but like it was just fine. I liked Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, but like it was just fine. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about this one too. But in this book, we are following our main character, Nora, who is a witch. And this one kind of just opens up on her walking through the forest with her pet fox. I was like, that's pretty sick. If I was a witch, I would want a pet fox. But she stumbles across this guy who is just laying in the woods. At first, she thinks he's dead, but upon further inspection, he's just sleeping in the middle of the woods, I guess. Kind of a vibe, I don't know. But she wakes him up and he has no clue what's going on. He doesn't know how he got to the middle of this forest, and there are a lot of questions. But recently there's this like boys camp school thing near the lake that Nora lives by, and there were reports that a young man went missing from there like 2 weeks ago or something. So obviously Nora's like, well, this must be the guy. So eventually she takes him back to the school, camp, whatever. I still don't exactly know what it is. But as the book has progressed, they've obviously interacted again because there are two main characters, and he is starting to remember or realize a couple of things that may have transpired and may have led to him being like just sleeping in the middle of the woods, and they are rather distressing. And Nora is also kind of starting to put some puzzle pieces together as well, and that's kind of where we're at now. I am on page 92 of this book, so I think I'm like almost a third of the way through it. I don't think I realized I was quite that far through it though. But I'm definitely intrigued. I just don't know if I'm like that invested in it. I will continue to listen to it on audio because I am enjoying listening to the audiobook while I'm like doing things. I have some things that I want to do later today where I will also like listen to the audiobook, and that'll be nice. Because obviously the ambiance is stunning. I do feel like Shea Earnshaw knows how to write a good ambiance. She knows how to describe setting in a way that makes me feel like I am there. Honestly, this book gives me the same like vibes, kind of, that The Wicked Deep gave me, in that like dark, witchy, magical kind of situation. But this one takes place in the winter and that one took place in the summer. But like it involves witches, it involves weird guys just kind of showing up in town. And I like that general concept, like it's fun, you know? But her descriptions of the wintry scenery that Nora is experiencing, top tier. I wish it was snowing here. It is cold outside where I live, but it is not snowing. And that's honestly offensive. Like, why is it not snowing while I'm reading Winterwood? Because that would literally be the perfect reading ambiance. Oh, it'd be too good. But the place where they live gets a ton of snow. Like at one point, I think the main character said they got like 4 feet of snow in one night. And I was like, that's insane. But also, like, can I go visit there? I don't think I'm built to live in a climate like that, but I'd like to visit. Like, that'd be kind of nice. But this book makes me feel like it is snowing outside. I have like a little snowy ambiance like thing up on my computer right now. So like while I'm reading or listening, I can just like look up and I can feel like it's snowing. So honestly, 10 out of 10 for the descriptions and the scenery. I just don't really know if I care about the plot that much, but I will continue to read it because this is the perfect book to read right now. So there are kind of my thoughts on Winterwood for the time being. I'm thinking, what am I gonna do today? I do have some plans for today. I'm pretty sure I want to start and finish Thornhedge today. I mean, it's only like 100 or so pages. It is 111 pages. I feel like I could finish that today. And then I also want to make my cranberry orange garland thing. I'm pretty excited about that, and like that's when I'll listen to my audiobook for Winterwood, so it'll be perfect. My goal is to finish this one today, make some progress in this one, and then tomorrow I really want to start the Starless Sea. I cannot wait to start the Starless Sea. But I'm going to probably start by reading a bit of Thornhedge. Almost dropped it. And I'll catch up with you guys later. It's like 4 o'clock now. It's been a minute, but I do have just a small update on Thornhedge because I have made it to page 62. So I'm like a little bit over halfway and I'm liking it. It's fine. I am pretty interested to see kind of why things are the way they are, I guess. I'm not like fully invested in it though. But like that's fine because it is a novella, so I wasn't really going into this like expecting to be like that invested in it. But there are definitely a lot of things that I am liking in this book. For one, our main character's name is Toadling and she can turn into a toad. I'm like, that's pretty freaking sick, I can't lie. And this book is kind of told in like maybe I should tell you what the book is about. That might be kind of helpful because I actually know what the book is about now. But basically this opens up with our main character Toadling, and she is kind of outside this tower of sorts where there is this fair maiden being kept under an enchanted sleeping spell, and basically Toadling's job is to make sure nobody gets into this tower to wake up the sleeping mistress, whatever you want to call her. And obviously this is sort of weird because in a lot of fairy tales, you know, you have the girl trapped in the tower, the knight comes to save her, and you know, everything's fine. But it kind of seems like Toadling is keeping in more of a malevolent maiden, shall we call her, and that's kind of the part that we're trying to figure out. Like, what did she do that got her trapped in this tower for like hundreds of years? And in the way that the story is being told, we are getting like the present day timeline, which is following Toadling and our other main character. What is his name? Halim? I think that might be how you say his name. He is a knight. He's not a very good knight, and he read about this tower in a book when he was just like bored one day perusing the library. So he was like, I have nothing else to do. I'm gonna go inspect this tower and see what's going on. So he's run into Toadling. She's been trying to dissuade him from like going up into this tower, but like nothing is stopping this man from going up into this tower to see what's up. And I'm like, I want to see what's up too, so let's go. And that's kind of where we're at now because Toadling did agree to take him up into the tower. But aside from that, the other timeline that we are following, I'm also really liking, because that timeline, it's more of like a fairy tale-esque story, but we are following Toadling from the time she was born. And turns out she was a changeling child, and we're kind of just seeing what her life was like growing up in fairyland and the things that they had her do for them. And I'm just really liking the way that T. Kingfisher is kind of structuring this story because it's bouncing back and forth a lot. And to be honest, it does get kind of confusing because there isn't really a clear like divide of like, all right, we're going back in time now, all right, we're in the present now, and like sometimes a paragraph just starts and I'm like, I don't know what time we're in right now, but I'm just gonna like go with the flow, like it's fine. But I do typically like stories with like a dual timeline kind of thing like that, and I am liking this one. I just wish it was a bit more clear, but I do enjoy any book that deals with fae. I feel like this book kind of has a very like typical depiction of what fae and like fairyland is like. But I enjoy that typical depiction, so I'm liking it a lot. I'm just not fully invested in the story, but I am intrigued enough that obviously I'm gonna finish it because I only have like 40 pages left, so yeah, that's where I'm at. But aside from that, I'm taking a break because it is time to make my garland. And I don't know why it didn't register in my head that these oranges were gonna have to be in the oven for a really long time to like properly dry them out. But I just looked up a recipe and I have to cook them for like 4 to 6 hours. So I need to get on that because I'm not even gonna be able to like make the garland tonight, but I would like to at least have the oranges completely dried out and like out of the oven before I go to sleep. So I need to get on it because honestly I have no clue how long it's gonna take. They said it could take longer than 6 hours, so we'll see. It's kind of where I'm at with my plans, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow, most likely. So it is Tuesday morning, and as you guys will have just seen, I made my little orange garland. Originally, I know I said I was going to put cranberries on it, but I decided that I wanted to hang it in my room, and I don't know how I feel about just like fruit being about. Like, I'm sure people wouldn't make the garlands if it wasn't okay, but like, I just didn't like that. So I decided to keep it just to my little orange slices. And honestly, I think it is so cute. I will definitely be making more of these in the years to come. I know these can last multiple years, but I don't know how I feel about storing them. But I am very happy with how it turned out. I am a really big fan of it. But now I do have a couple of updates for you guys. First of all, where did it go? First of all, I did finish up Thornhedge, and I didn't absolutely love it, but I still really enjoyed it. I think the ending was really nice, and I liked how everything concluded, and kind of just the general concept of the story as a whole, like turning the princess trapped in a tower thing on its head. I really liked seeing how T. Kingfisher took the original kind of fairy tale and made it a little more sinister, but I just don't really know if I cared that much. Like, if you guys are looking for a short novella kind of fairy tale retelling that's a little bit different than what you normally get, then I would probably recommend picking this up, but it wasn't my favorite. However, I do still want to read a bunch of other things by T. Kingfisher because I know that she does like a lot of different like genres in her work. So even though I didn't absolutely love this one, I am still excited for the T. Kingfisher works that I will be picking up in the future. Moving on to my plans for today. I am going to be starting the Starless Sea today, and I'm very excited about it. I did technically start this yesterday, but I read like 3 pages. So I would not really count that as starting, but I'm gonna start this. I have already picked out my annotating color palette, and I'm really excited about it because I think it's really cute. And I love the colors on this cover, like the pink, blue, and yellow kind of goldy color. I love that it's reminiscent of like primary colors, so I'm really excited to get into it and start annotating it because I feel like I'm just gonna love it. So this is kind of main plan for today, but I also have 3 days of my advent calendar to open because I forgot about it already. I was supposed to do it on Sunday and I just didn't. And I might have already opened the one for day 3. But it's really cute, so we're gonna open it again. Look at this washi tape. It's literally just the print on the box, and I was just talking about how much I love the print on this box. So I will be using this a ton because I love the silver foiling in it. This is so good. I'm so excited about this. But it is currently December 5th, so we have 2 more boxes to open. All of the silver foiling on just everything in this advent calendar is so fun. What is this? I think it's kind of like a paper clip. I don't know, that's weird. I don't know if I'm gonna use this, but it is interesting. I feel like maybe I could find something I could use this for. Feels very Art Deco. And then we also have day 5. Oh, I love the box for this one as well. Also, it's triangular, so like I don't know what that's about, but find out. Oh no, it's taped. Why is this one taped? Okay, I have opened. Oh, these are cute. These are like, I think, more paper clips, but I really like these. Some different shapes and whatnot. These I would definitely be able to find something to do with. This one's just like a little, like, I don't know. But obviously the star of all 3 of these is this washi tape. I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. And I'm really excited to see if maybe they do some more washi tape at some point in time in this box because I love getting some good washi tape. So there is my, my little advent calendar opening. Ooh, the box for tomorrow looks fun. Look, it's hexagonal. I like that. But obviously, we won't find out what it is until tomorrow. 'Tis a shame. That's kind of all I have to update you guys on. Not a lot, but I'm going to get into reading The Starless Sea. I'm so excited. Oh, also, very exciting news. Today is the 5th of December, meaning Yona of the Dawn Volume 40 came out today, and I did pre-order it, so I'm hoping to get that at some point in time. Today, obviously. And I will be reading that in this vlog as well. I forgot to talk about that when I was like introing the vlog, but obviously very exciting times. Now I think that's everything that I had to tell you, and let's get into reading The Starless Sea. morning, friends. It is currently Wednesday morning, I think. First, I do have a little bit of book mail because yesterday I did get my volume 40 of Yona of the Dawn. The cover is stunning. I love the colors on it, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. Oh, I haven't done a little flip through yet. Very exciting. So I might read this today, I might save it for tomorrow, I'm not sure, but I will read it at some point in this vlog. And then the other exciting thing that I want to do first is open up my little day 6 of my advent calendar. Let's just open it, we'll see what it is. Oh, they're ink refills. Oh. For what? Maybe there's something later in the advent calendar that these will be useful for? Are these blue? They look blue. I don't know what to do with this information, but I guess we'll see if these become relevant. Like later? I don't know. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna get all these back in their tiny box. There we go. But can we talk about how small this little box is? It's so cute. Anyway, that's kind of just the random stuff that I want to do because really, we are here because I need to talk about The Starless Sea because I'm loving this book so much so far. Oh my god. So I'm up to page 117. I just got to part 2, which is called Fortunes and Fables. And I am like 1 chapter into part 2 because originally last night I was like, all right, part 2 is coming up. I'm just gonna stop then. And then I saw the title of like the first chapter that was in part 2, and it is called The Star Merchant. I was like, Erin Morgenstern. And I was just thinking like, Erin Morgenstern gets me. Like she gets it. And I couldn't stop. I had to read that chapter. It was also only like 3 pages long, which is another thing that I'm really liking about this book because the chapters are like, some of them are decently short, some of them are a little bit longer, but there are like certain parts in the book that only really include short chapters, and I love some good short chapters, so. But we need to talk about it because I feel like I'm gonna give this book a 5-star. Literally, I was on page 23 yesterday and I was already getting the 5-star feels. I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna give this book a 5-star, and I kind of feel like it might become a new favorite because it is so good. So I've mentioned this a couple of times, but basically this book follows our main character, Zachary, who one day is perusing the library of his university and he comes across this book. And in this book, there are a couple of different stories being told, but one of them is literally a story from his childhood. And obviously, this is rather distressing. It's very weird, but also really intriguing. So really the point of this book is, so far at least, is following Zachary as he tries to figure out where this book came from, who wrote it, why does it have a story from his life, like who saw that happen or who knew that it was going to happen and wrote it down in this book. And that in and of itself, incredibly magical, intriguing. I'm loving that part so far. But the thing that Erin Morgenstern does so well is her writing. It is always exquisite. I loved the writing in The Night Circus, obviously. But the writing in this book is also so stunning. And so far, I'm liking this book even more than I was liking The Night Circus. And I really liked The Night Circus, but this one feels like it has the potential to be like a new favorite book of all time. And that is, oh my god, that is the best feeling ever. It's been so long, I feel, since I've had quite this specific feeling about a book. Like, I got the same feeling when I read Strange the Dreamer. I got the same feeling when I read The Infernal Devices, Half a Soul. Well, I guess Half a Soul wasn't that long ago. Like, it's been a minute. I just haven't had that feeling many times. But the fact that I've already had it with this book, 100 pages in, hello. I just feel like this is the kind of book that has those chapters or lines or phrases or whatever that I immediately want to go back and reread. And I can see myself rereading this book many times in the future because so far, I just love it. And I feel like the main reason, I'm just gonna set this here. I think the main reason that I'm loving it so far is because this entire book is basically just an ode to stories. It is a book about books. I don't think I've really read like a ton of books about books. Like, obviously there are books that I've read where books are mentioned, literature is a big part of them, but this one is like an ode to stories, you know, and just the magic of storytelling. And I don't think I can properly even articulate my thoughts on it. But I just love it so much. The writing is so lovely. It's so whimsical. Just the way that Erin Morgenstern writes is so unlike anything else that I've ever read before. So I'm loving the writing. I'm loving the plot. I really like our main character, Zachary. I feel like me and him, like, there are just so many things about him that I heavily relate to. And I feel like in The Night Circus, I am gonna keep comparing this to The Night Circus, I'm sorry. Obviously, I loved all the characters in that book so much, but I feel like the whimsical atmosphere and the writing were like the main reasons that I enjoyed that book. And this book, like, same thing. It's like that, the whimsical writing and the atmosphere and whatnot, but I feel like I connect more with Zachary than I did with any of the characters in The Night Circus, which obviously would increase my enjoyment of this book as opposed to that one. And I know I'm comparing them a lot. That's not to say The Night Circus is bad. Obviously, I love The Night Circus. Then that is like, it's not like a favorite book of all time, but I feel like it's like an honorable mention of my favorite books of all time. But this one I think could just be a favorite book of all time, so yeah. I'm so excited that I decided to start this book. It is so freaking good so far, and I love it. So yes, I'm going to definitely be reading a bunch of this today. Also, here's how the annotating is looking so far. I really like it. I love the color palette. And I know it is going to cover the stenciled edges, but honestly, there's no way that I can't annotate this book. Like, that's not even an option in my mind. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fine. So I will probably just be getting back into reading some more of The Starless Sea. I do want to read Yona at some point in time. I don't know. We'll have to see what I get up to. You guys will find out in like 3 seconds. So I will talk to you guys later when I have an update about something. Okay, so quick update. I just finished volume 40 of Yona, and I feel the same way about this volume that I have felt about literally every other volume of Yona that I have been reading recently. But the thing is, my love for these characters is so strong that it outweighs any negative opinions that I could really have towards the parts of this volume that I don't like. So I will certainly continue to read it because I still love it, so what can I say? But it's always nice to throw a little manga on a TBR to switch things up, change the pace, you know? But it is time to get back into The Starless Sea. And that's all I have to say, that I'm just gonna get back into it. So I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow, hopefully with a substantial update. We'll see though. I think 2 days later now. It is currently Friday, so it is the 8th, And before we get into my update on The Starless Sea, because obviously I've read quite a bit more of it, first, we gotta do the little advent calendar for today because I'm really excited because the box for day 8, because it's the 8th, is very large. Also, just like the design on it's so cute. I'm so excited to see what is in here. I feel like it's probably like a little memo pad or something, because like what else is this big, you know? Oh, I do need to show you what I got yesterday, because I did open the one for yesterday already. But this one's also really cute. They're like these really, really, really tiny little sticky notes. And when I first saw these, I was like, these are gonna be perfect for annotating. So I can't wait to see how I end up using these, because these are really, they're just so small. I love them. But moving on to day 8, let us see what we have. Oh, it looks like tiny notebooks. Oh, they're so small. Oh my god. They're so cute. Oh, they're tiny dotted notebooks. Oh my god. But we have one for thoughts and one for ideas. And these are so cute. I'm always looking for just like tiny scraps of paper. Oh, this one doesn't have the dots on it. That's nice. You get like some options. Oh, these are cute. Yeah, I'm always just like writing down random notes to myself on like everything. So this will be perfect. That was a really loud noise. I'll be back. Sorry, I just heard a really loud noise from downstairs, and obviously there are 3 cats in this house, so I was like, did somebody hurt themselves? Need to go check that out. It was just Poppy. She knocked over a curtain rod that we just had leaning against the wall, so I think she's fine. She looked fine to me. She looked guilty, but she looked fine. But it is time to talk about the No, this is not the night circus. Okay, but it is time to talk about the Starless Sea because obviously I have indeed made quite a bit of progress. Here's how it's looking so far. I just made it to part 5, I think. And I'm on page 323, and I'm still absolutely loving it, and it is still absolutely going to be one of my top books of the year. I just feel like this book is so different to like any book that I have picked up. The emotions that the writing is able to evoke from me is just insane, honestly. And this is just the kind of book, and like the same thing with the Night Circus, that just makes me love and appreciate reading so much. And it makes me so happy that I found reading again and that it is something that is now so important to me and like such a huge part of my life. But that obviously means that this book has to be a favorite. There was this quote in here which I do want to read. It says, "Strange, isn't it, to love a book when the words on the pages become so precious that they feel part of your own history because they are." And like that's just how I feel about my favorite books. And I feel like that just perfectly encapsulates how all of us feel about our favorite books. And it's just like, I need to read more books about books, because why have I not been reading books about books? Because I love it so far. Also, something that I thought was really funny, I've been having like so many weird instances with this book, but just like one small example is that yesterday morning I was driving and I saw this car next to me and they had this little like origami star garland hanging up like in their car. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. So I went home and I decided that I wanted to try and make an origami star garland. I was like, that's a really cute idea. I want to do that. I made one and I realized I'm really bad at it. Here it is. I mean, like, it kind of looks like a star, but it's not great. But there's this whole part in this book that I read literally yesterday where one of the characters in the stories that we're like getting throughout this book is making tiny paper origami stars, and it's become like a huge part of the plot. And like, I wasn't even aware of that when I made this little paper star. And I was like, that's so weird. That's so weird. And like, maybe it's just like, you know, oh, an interesting thing that happened. But I like to think that it is a coincidence and it is a sign that I was meant to love this book. But I don't want to say like too much about it, because this is the kind of book that I would highly recommend you go into not knowing much about. Because honestly, the only thing I went into it knowing was that like our main character found a book about his life, but like that was it. No clue about literally anything else that went down in this book. And that is absolutely the way to do it, because just kind of going along with the story and seeing where it takes you, it's just the best way to experience it. It's so good. I just feel like this book is so special, and I totally see why people don't like it, because it is incredibly confusing at times. But I feel like the more you read, the more you like go back to those parts that were confusing, and then they make so much more sense, and just the way that the story unravels in that fashion really adds to the magical atmosphere. But if you're not on board with like a whimsical kind of storytelling experience like that, then like don't pick it up. But if that does sound like something that you would really appreciate, then oh my god, you need to pick up The Starless Sea. I'm liking this book even more than I enjoyed The Night Circus. Honestly, a lot more than I enjoyed The Night Circus. And I really liked The Night Circus, so saying that is like, that's high praise, you know? But I just feel like this book is more suited to, well, I feel like they're both suited to my reading taste in their own way, because The Night Circus hits on that like historical fantasy with a little bit of romance thrown in there kind of thing, and I love that. But this one, while it does like somewhat take place in the real world, I feel like it just feels more fantastical than The Night Circus does, and it's a book about books. It takes place in a library that's not a library, more like an underground dungeon library kind of situation. That's how Zachary described it at one point. I was like, what do I have to do to go visit an underground dungeon library? And I just love it so much. I'm thinking my goal for today might be to finish The Starless Sea, because I do have less than 200 pages. I feel like we're getting into a part of the plot where a lot of things are like clicking together and starting to make more sense. I've definitely had a lot of instances where I've gone back to read some of like the shorter stories that are in here, because the way that this is told, you have like our main character Zachary and like his whole timeline thing that's going on, but you also have chapters that are like excerpts from books that he's finding. But I've gone back to read a couple of those now that like we know some things about them, and everything just makes so much more sense and so much more satisfying. But I love that so much, like being able to actually contextualize them. So yeah, I'm going to aim to finish this today. Don't know if that'll actually happen, but that is the goal. So I will catch up with you guys later when I have just some sort of an update for you. It is the next day. It is now Saturday. I do have some reading updates for you guys that we will talk about in a moment, but first, obviously, we need to do day 9 in the little advent calendar, which, I mean, I'm thinking it's this. Theoretically, this could be a 6. And I didn't think about that before, but we're opening. Oh, it's a little post-it note cube. I actually really like this design. This is really cute. Kind of looks like a little thumbprint, but I like that a lot. Honestly, kind of giving Starless Sea vibes, you know? So there is, oh, and it says a pocket full of thoughts on like the little holder thingy that it came in. That's really cute. But we are here because we need to talk about The Starless Sea, which I did finish. There's all of the annotations. It's super satisfying. And considering I left this book, obviously it deserved all of those stunning annotations. So, clearly I'm giving this book a 5-star, and clearly this is one of my new favorite books of all time. Like, if it's so, oh my god, it's such like a top favorite book too, that I am just so excited. I feel like, you know, it's been a minute since I've had a 5-star. I gave If We Were Villains 5 stars back in September, but since then, haven't had a 5-star read. I feel like I haven't really been just like absolutely enamored by any of the books that I've read over the past 2 months. They were good, and there were some that I really, really enjoyed, but they're just, it's been a minute since I've had a book that I enjoyed quite this much, and I was tearing up at the end. I was like, no, I am actually not ready for this to be over, but I just loved it so much. And something I do want to say is that last night after I finished this, I was looking for reading vlogs of other people reading this book, because obviously I was like, I want to share my excitement, even though these people probably read this book like 2 years ago and that's when the reading vlog was posted, but I just want to see more people talking about it, okay? And so many people hate this book. I feel like this is a book that you either absolutely adore or you never want to go near ever again in your life. And I get why. Because I feel like this book is incredibly confusing at times, and I feel like that really added to my enjoyment of it, because the further you get into the book, the more those things that were confusing kind of start to make sense, but also kind of just going along with it felt very like whimsical and very fairy tale-esque, which like is the point. But I feel like this book, for the people who do love it and do appreciate it, is just so special, because it is a story about stories. It is about the importance of storytelling and how stories impact people in different ways, and the fact that reading is very subjective, and maybe a book means one thing to one person but it means a completely different thing to another person. And I feel like that is how people feel about this book. And I love that she was able to create a book like that. The ambiance of this book is also just absolutely impeccable. It's so mysterious and ominous at points, but it's also so whimsical and magical and just it's just unlike any book I've ever read. And I feel like I don't know how else to really talk about it because the feelings that I was having while reading this book were just unparalleled. Yeah, it's just a really special book now. And I'm so glad that I finally got around to reading it. Definitely has insane reread potential for me because there's so many things that I've already gone back to reread. Like literally as soon as I finished the book as a whole, I went back in the audiobook and I was listening to some of like the tales that were in this book again because I just love them so much. And I can't wait to do a whole reread at some point in time. I feel like this is a book that I love so much that I just don't know how to talk about. I feel the same way about the Infernal Devices. Like, ask me why I love that series, but don't, because it's hard to talk about. It's just a feeling, you know? And it's the same thing with this book. So, incredibly high up on my list of top books of all time now, which is insane, honestly. And I am so happy to report that to you guys. So I do have one more thing that I want to do in this vlog that is related to this, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Because I do need to give you guys a quick update on Winterwood. And the update is that I'm not gonna finish it in this vlog. I will probably, well, not probably, I just will finish this in my next vlog. I am on page 130 now. Me and Cass did some reading sprints earlier today, which were so much fun, so thank you to everybody who showed up to the sprints. Also, if you missed them, they are always just kept on my channel if you want to like go back and watch them. But I did read, I think like 40 pages of this while we were on sprints. I was mainly listening to it on audio while I was working on a thumbnail. I don't really care that much about this book, to be honest. Like there are some things that I'm kind of like interested in knowing, but I'm also slightly tempted to DNF it. But I also might just continue to read it on audio. Like I don't think I'm going to pick this up physically again because I just don't want to read it physically. But that's fine because like not all books can have the same reactions that The Starless Sea gets, so yeah. So originally I was going to end the vlog here because I was like, I finished The Starless Sea. I think I've had enough of reading. This is gonna put me into a mini reading slump. But I was looking online earlier through Pinterest for like just, you know, Starless Sea aesthetic or whatever because I was making a thumbnail for one of my Patreon vlogs and I wanted to do more of like a collage-y type thing with it. So I needed like pictures that would fit the Starless Sea aesthetic. And where else am I gonna go for those but Pinterest? But as I was scrolling, I saw a charm bracelet that somebody made of just, you know, a bunch of charms that pertained to the Starless Sea. And I was like, that is such a fun idea. I was like, I kind of want one. And then I was thinking, why would I buy a charm bracelet when I've been wanting to get back into jewelry making? Because at some point in 2020, I got really into making necklaces and just like jewelry making in general. Did it for like a month and then I never touched the stuff again, but I still have it. And I was like, this sounds really fun actually. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm going to go to some craft stores and acquire a bunch of charms that just remind me of the Starless Sea. There are like 3 main motifs that I will definitely be able to find charms for because the key, bee, and sword, huge thing in this book. There's a lot of things that I feel like I will be able to find charms for. So I just thought it would be fun to put together my own charm bracelet for it because I've always wanted to make a charm bracelet. I just never knew really what to do with it. But seeing as I've now decided to make this book my new personality for probably like the next month, why not make a little bracelet dedicated to one of my new favorite books? That is what we're gonna go do today. I thought I could show you that and then that will be the end of the vlog. So I'm gonna go hit some craft stores, I'm gonna make my charm bracelet, and then I will come back and we will say bye. I am back from my excursion outside and I have things. And I thought I could show you my charm haul because I'm really excited about these, to be honest. I have finally decided the direction that I want to go in with this bracelet because the one that I saw online was just like a silver chain with little things hanging off of it. And that's cute. Love that. But I've been seeing bracelets like this. If we could, yes. Maybe all over like my Pinterest because I've been looking at a bunch of jewelry recently. And I think that's really cute. And I want to try something to this effect. So I decided to get some colorful beads. So here's the color palette I'm going for. Obviously blue probably would be a better idea, but I love green. We all know I love green, so I wanted to do green. But as for the charms, I feel like I have a decent selection here. Oh, I also got this thing. I don't know if I'm going to, will this focus? I don't know if I'm going to use this in this bracelet or not. I might just make it into like its own bracelet because I really like the little hearts. I think they're really cute. So, charms, yes. So I got some little individual charms. So we have a little dragon and then a sun and a moon, and like obviously the sun and the moon is perfect, and I think a dragon is mentioned at one point in the book, so it's good enough for me. I just really wanted the dragon charm. I found these little book charms and they're perfect, and they even open, if I could get it to open. Look at this. It's like a little book locket. I was like, that's adorable. I have a bee, obviously. We have some keys. Sweet, perfect. They're really small too, which is good. And then when I went to Joann's, I saw they had some things on clearance, and I thought these would be perfect. I'm gonna use the top row of little snowflakes because this is a very wintry book. And I really liked these beads as well. I'm going to take the gold, can I take these off? I'm going to take the gold wire out of these because I want the bracelet to be silver, but I do have some wire that I can like replace these with. So I love these. I think the little pearlescent stars are super cute. I'm going to probably get into doing some of this tonight. My goal is to finish it tonight. I don't know if I will though, because the lighting's not great, but we might just have to deal with it. So I'm gonna get into it. I'm excited. And I will chat to you guys later. Jewelry making endeavor, and can I say I really like how it turned out. So I actually ended up making two things. First, I'll show you the charm bracelet because that's what the main point of all of this was. Where's the front? Does this yeah, I think this kind of does have a front. But look at it. I'm so excited. I just think it's so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me put it on. I have, where did it go? Right. I have this little thing that helps me put my bracelets on because it's rough, you know? Oh, I also made a bracelet out of the little heart chain that I got, and I think it's pretty cute. Ta-da! Here we go. On the wrist, little try-on portion. I love how chunky it is, to be honest. Like, I think it's really fun. And I've really been getting into bracelets recently, so it's a welcome addition, you know? And the fact that it symbolizes one of my new favorite books. I just had a really good time, like, going around and collecting charms that fit the vibe. It's also really loud. It's like a little instrument on there. But then I was like, why stop there? And it made a matching necklace. I think it's cute. Like, I have a green top that I think this will look really cute with, and I'm excited about it. So yeah, I used to be really into making jewelry when I was younger. It all sucked, to be honest. I like to think I've gotten at least a little bit better, so yeah, I really like these and I'm really excited about them. I saw one post on Instagram like a couple of months ago of somebody making the most gorgeous beaded necklace I've ever seen in my life, and ever since then I've been wanting to make anything, like any piece of beaded jewelry so badly, and it's really fun. It's honestly like kind of therapeutic, but it was a nice evening because I was just making my jewelry. I recently started watching, what's her name? Casey Onzo? I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce her last name, but she just does like a bunch of commentary videos, and I've been binging them recently because they are so entertaining. She's so funny. Like, for the most part, booktube content is like where I stick with YouTube, but every now and then I will venture out into like the commentary space, and it's always so fun. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point because I am also here to end the vlog because it's long enough. It's long enough. So let me talk about all of the books that I read in this vlog, of which I read 4. I finished 4 and I started 5. So let's go through them. First of all, I finished Eclipse of the Crown. This feels like an eternity ago. Honestly, like, I didn't even start this vlog that long ago, but that feels like a long time. But that series was so much fun. I am still really sad that it's over, and I will probably be rereading it at some point, if we're being honest. Then I finished Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. I didn't love this one, but I enjoyed it enough. Then I read volume 40 of Yona of the Dawn. Again, I didn't love this one either, but there were some good moments, for sure. I did start Winterwood, which I'm not loving this one either, but I made it to page 130. I will be finishing this in my next vlog, so if you want to hear my final thoughts on that, keep your eyes peeled. My lukewarm enjoyment of those is definitely made up for by the fact that I found a new favorite. But we don't have to talk about it anymore because I feel like I've spent a lot of this vlog talking about it. You guys already know. that I love this book, and it is my new like obsession. I'm still so sad that it's over, but I am just so glad that this book found its way into my life. So yeah, just a magical time. I loved it. That is the end of the vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me this week and reading some fun books. Maybe you got some recommendations from this video, although to be honest, the only books I would probably recommend are Eclipse of the Crown and The Starless Sea. Again, I don't think The Starless Sea is for everybody, but if it sounds like something that you would even remotely be into, pick it up. But if you guys did enjoy the video, obviously I would love to know down below, what have you guys been reading recently? Anything good? Have you read any of the books that I read in this vlog? Obviously, I would love to talk about them. But if you have not read any of them, just tell me what you guys are reading right now. That'd be really fun too. Also, before we go, I did want to thank everybody over on my Patreon. Love you guys. If you are ever looking for more content from me, my Patreon is always linked down below. We do some fun stuff. Later this month, there will be my entire spoiler-filled buddy read vlog for The Night Circuit. Oh my god, I keep calling this book The Night Circus. For The Starless Sea, okay? And that'll be fun. I'm really excited to get into editing that, but that is always linked down below. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you are having a fantastic December so far. I hope it's been magical. So, yeah, I will see you all in my next video.